Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about cumulative frequency distributions. I'll include how to make a relative frequency distribution and show you Excel steps to make the process easier. A cumulative frequency distribution tracks the running total of a distribution. For example, if we had an HR department that was tracking the number of employees that have completed a mandatory training X weeks after the training was deployed, we could start with a frequency distribution. Our frequency distribution shows after 1 week, 25 employees completed the training. After 2 weeks, an additional 18 employees completed the training. After 3 weeks, we had 32 more. After 4 weeks, another 17. After 5 weeks, 8 more. And then in the 6th week, we had the last 4 employees complete the training. We're going to assume everyone's done the training in the first 6 weeks. To make a cumulative frequency distribution, I'm going to add one more column that will represent the total number of employees that have completed the training. In the first week, we know we had 25 employees. In week 2, we want to add the 25 from week 1 to the 18 in week 2, which gives us a total of 43 completions. For week 3, we're going to add our 32 to our previous 43, which gives us a total of 75. Week 4, we're going to add 75 to the 17 employees that completed the training that week, which says we now have 92. In week 5, we take the 92 from the previous total, we add the 8 additional employees, which says now we have 100 employees that have completed the training. Then in week 6, we take the 100, we add the 4, which gives us 104. Notice the cumulative gives us the total of all previous weeks, where the frequency distribution just gives us the number of employees that completed the training in that particular week. If we want to extend this to a cumulative relative frequency distribution, we'll divide each data point by the total. So our cumulative relative frequency for week 1 is 25 divided by our total of 104, which gives us 24%. In week 2, we divide 43 by 104 to get 41.3%. Week 3, 75 divided by 104 is 72.1%. Week 4, 92 divided by 104 is 88.6%. Week 5, 100 divided by 104 is 96.2%. And then in week 6, 104 over 104 is 100%. The cumulative relative frequency distribution would be a good way to reach out to employees and talk about what percent of the employees have finished the training at any particular time. So in week 3, we might send an email to all employees to say 72.1% of employees have completed the training, which would hopefully encourage the rest of the employees to get in and do the training. Let's go over to Excel to see how it can assist us in doing these calculations. Let's go back to our original data, the number of weeks and the number of employees that completed the training in that week. To get my cumulative frequency, I'm going to go to the cell beside the 25 and push equals, and I'm just going to click on the 25. In week 1, we just had our 25 employees that completed the training. In week 2, I'm going to hit equals, and I want to add the 18 employees that completed the training to the previous amount. Remember to click on the cells and not put in the number, that way we can click and drag to fill in the data. Let's complete the table by clicking back in the 43, making sure that our mouse turns into a plus, and then let's just drag down to fill in the column. Now we quickly have our cumulative frequency distribution. To get our relative cumulative frequency, we're going to go into the first cell, push equals. I'm going to click on the cumulative frequency to the left, hit divide by. I know my total is 104, so I'm going to enter 104. I want this value to stay the same. I don't want it to change as I drag down for the rest of the column. So let's go back, turn into a plus sign, drag down, and we can see all of our values fill in. If we would like to change how this appears, I can highlight my cells, right-click, go to Format Cells, change it to percentage, and then decide how many decimal places I want. Let's make a quick chart looking at the relative cumulative frequency. I'm going to copy the number of weeks, paste it beneath, I'm also going to copy the cumulative relative frequency. When I paste it, I want to make sure I click the values. Remember, we put in cell references and we don't want the cell references to change. I want to get the values that show in my original chart. To make a chart, I will highlight my two columns. I'm going to go to Insert. And then remember, on charts, you could go to Recommended or you can go right to the chart you want to see. But let's look at Recommended first. The first recommended it shows is a bar graph, which isn't really appropriate for this data. Let's go instead to this line graph. Line graphs are really the best way to look at a relative cumulative frequency distribution. That way we can see the total growth over time. I'm going to quickly change this a little. I'm going to right-click on the column, say Format Axis. I'm going to change the maximum to 1 because we're not going to have more than 100%. And then we can view our updated graph. Of course, if you were doing this for work, you would want to make this clearer to say relative cumulative frequency distribution of mandatory training, and you would want to label both axes to be clear about what you're looking at. The horizontal axis should be weeks after the training was deployed. Then the vertical axis is the % of employees that completed the training. Incoming videos will feature other statistical graphs and charts.